I'm
You ready to go?
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Welcome back.
Back to do another review for The Curse of Oak Island, Season 8, Episode 9. So, yeah, what have we done?
So they obviously they went back to the original locations on Earth. Like every episode, they go to the money pit and the swamp, and then but before
They also did the Serpent Mount or whatever, too.
No, I know, but I was gonna say let me go in order, so we're not explaining too fast. So they start off at the money pit with the archaeologist people or whatnot, and basically they're still not finding anything.
Yeah, they're finding a lot of dirt and
clay,
all that. Really, they're not finding anything.
So one of the top experts that claims they might know where the money pit is in that area. The guy shows them a map of coordinate of different.
Oh, you're talking about Craig Test. I should finally get to the end because he was on a quarantine.
Yeah, so he shows them a map of all these different areas in the money pit where they think the treasure might be located. I forget what the coordinate names are. They're very odd names.
They keep changing.
There's like C17, something like that. So basically, he basically says, okay, start off at this one, and then go, and then he just tells them then if it's not there, then do this one, and so they drill the new coordinate, and they start finding not pieces of wood, but they start noticing that the texture of it is very different. Like the clay and the mud, like one area feels soft, then the area feels hard. So they're wondering, it's kind of weird because it's like, well, why is half of this soft and then the other half's hard? Why is that like that? So they're not sure why. So they think it might be the underwater tunnels.
Yeah, the flood. They think
the floodwater
tunnels be one of the flood tunnels that they've encountered in that specific area where they're drilling.
Yeah, that's what they think, but they're not 100% sure. And then the next long piece of dirt they brought out, it was all watery, or like all soft and watery, and all that. And they're starting to think they have a pretty good idea. That's what they think it might be, is the floodwater tunnel that may have caused the treasure to sink all the way down to the bottom. Mm-hmm. But they're still drilling and all that to see if they can get more pieces of evidence to confirm the theory. So now transitioning from that into the swamp, they're digging out more of that road they're looking at, and basically Rick and the team, they think, based on where the road is going, they think it might be leading to the money pit. That's where they think it might be going.
Yeah, it's just another theory, because there was a lot of rocks. It looks like a road, and they're finding a lot of wood, and it was put in a certain way that it's
kind of like
definitely going to be man-made.
It's kind of like the way they showed it. It was like the wood was on the sides, and then the rocks were there. So it was kind of like a road. But the thing that questions me, though, is based on what they found, is how can someone be able to travel across a road like that? Because obviously the rocks, they weren't straight. They were, if you were to drive a vehicle over that, there would be bumps and everything. So I'm not sure how exactly what they used to transport stuff.
That's why they said they found all the oxen shoes earlier this season and some last season, because they think that they were using oxen to move something back and forth using the road. But that's just another theory.
So something from it had to, because the way it obviously worked back then was, in order to transport goods or treasures or anything worth valuable onto the island, there would have to have been a boat, right, and then you would have to get off the boat and use something to transport it into the island. And obviously this is a 17th century road. I mean, that was made back in the late 1600s to the early 1700s.
Yeah.
But they have a pretty good idea. It might be leading to the money pit, or it could be leading to maybe a different location, maybe where the actual money pit is. But they're not entirely sure because they're obviously still digging, and they're going to keep going until they figure out where exactly this road leads it to. And they think the more they dig, they might know where the money pit is and stuff. But
Yeah, they're a long ways to go when it comes to digging because they don't know how deep this stuff goes in or how far it goes, and they're just starting to dig
yeah,
in these locations. I've been waiting for them to do that since they Gary and what's his name, Jack Bagley found the wood 2-3 episodes ago, and they kind of went away from it. I was waiting for them to go back and they started digging because they just kind of left it, even though they drained the swamp and they find this. So now they're finally starting to dig up and realizing that there was some kind of a structure there that looks like it was put there. It was a man-made structure, but it might be to the money pit. It might be to like going to lot 13 or 50, whatever. But it's all theories. They really don't know for sure yet. But I'm sure next week we're gonna get some more information on that.
And not to mention, Gary found it was like this piece of nail kind of that was in the dirt when they were digging it up, and then down where the other archaeologists were examining that snake-looking thing, whatever it's called.
Yes, the Serpent Hills.
Yeah,
I think they call it Serpent Mounds, whatever.
He found a what do they call it? An oxfin shoe. What is that? How you say it?
Oh, what?
An oxen shoe.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so he basically found the nail and that. So they sent it off to. But what was the lady that they were doing in the video conference?
I don't recall what her name was. I know you're talking about. I don't recall what her name
was.
Well,
anywho, so she examined what they found, and basically, she thinks, based on the way it looks and the age of it, she thinks it may have been created by a blacksmith, but the same blacksmith. Because obviously, if you're going to use stuff like that, you would obviously need the nail for mining, and then the other thing for that, or transporting, something like that.
Yeah.
And she believes it came from the early 17th century. So there's definitely a lot of big questions as to, like, out of all the episodes, why is this place in this specific area? How did it get here? Who was here with it? All these different things. So it just seems interesting to me.
Yeah, there's a lot of unanswered questions. Definitely, there's definitely a lot going on this island. Either way, whether there's a treasure there or not, I don't know. But people put a lot of work into the different structures they found. They found one, the largest stuff they found in Smith's Cove, and the other paved area in the swamp. Now this one, plus the structure. They're finding all this stuff. It's like, what was the point of building all these various things? And I know there was people who lived on the island at one point years ago. I mean, I know it wasn't that many people. It was only, I think, a handful of people that lived on the island as permanent residents. So I can't imagine just those people would go to this extent. It makes me think there was a large number of people there long ago that were doing it for a large purpose.
Obviously, because I mean, they think this treasure has been hidden for hundreds of thousands of years. I mean, dating back to the 13s, potentially between the 1300s, maybe even longer than that. Who knows? And there's just a lot of questions that have to be answered. Who?
I don't think it was the 1300s. I think it
they
was
found
16 or 1700s because they didn't have really transportation.
Well, didn't they say they found pieces of evidence dating back to the 13th century?
Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, possibly. I don't recall.
I mean,
anyways,
it's definitely, it's just, why would someone want to put treasure on this island, and why? Why would they want to?
They keep saying the Knights Templar or something, but they don't know for sure. But it's just wild guesses. Thinking that that's what it is. That they think, Jack Bagley likes to think everything's a shaft, and the Lagina's 8, they kind of split one. Like I think Rick always says they should be doing stuff in the swamp. Some guys think that there's doing the drilling in the money period, they're gonna find something. I think they're gonna find the tunnels or shafts, whatever you call it, the previous searches found. I don't think they're gonna find any treasure at all. But even still, I mean, it's still interesting to see, because people who did all this work, and it is interesting. What is these structures? What was the point of them? So even if there's no treasure that ever gets found,
Yeah. And then obviously the preview for next week showed that they found this big piece of wood from the money pit drilling. So they think that might be one of the mine tunnels from the previous treasurers digging. What else did they show? They showed
they found a piece of gold.
Yeah, from the swamp, from the road they're digging out.
Yeah, so that's interesting. I mean, so that's something to look forward to for next week's episode, because every week they seem to show these previews that make you really excited to want to see what happens. It turns out it's only a small amount of stuff happens on the episode. And it kind of keeps you going back for more. I'm hoping eventually they do find something, because every season I watch and they find minimum amount of stuff, but I still find it interesting.
I agree.
And then we'll definitely be checking out episode 10 when it comes out next week.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that. I think that's going to do it.
Yeah.
Guys, have any thoughts or comments about the show, put them on down below. And as always, don't forget, hit that like and subscribe.
Until next time.
There you go.